Hello, my name is Marcello, and all of us from TSAV would like to welcome you to the Source Audio Video Design Group's YouTube channel. Welcome back to those joining us again, and thank you for your continued support. On this channel, we will discuss home audio and video, personal audio, home theater, home automation, and speak with some of the movers and shakers in the music and hi-fi industry. So please consider subscribing today and ring that bell icon to get notified of future live streams and videos. Today I will share my impressions of the Marantz 40n network integrated amplifier versus the Marantz Model 30 integrated amplifier. This video will focus on the build quality, design, and some of my sound impressions about the 40n versus the Model 30, paired with my current reference speakers, the Sonus Faber Olympica Nova 5s, my reference DAC, the Chord Hugo TT-2, and my reference turntable, the Marantz TT-15S1. If you haven't watched the video we published on the Marantz Model 40n on this channel, you may want to go back and watch it after this video, which I will link at the end. I also have a new idea for another video in this series, so stay tuned and don't forget to turn on notifications for our channel. On the surface, one could easily mistake these two amplifiers for each other, as they both have the same design aesthetics, with each amp having a couple of differences on the front. First, the Model 30 allows a user to select a magnetic moving or moving coil cartridge with a low setting of 33 ohms, mid of 100 ohms, or high at 390 ohms, allowing it to be more versatile when it comes to turntables. Secondly, on the 40n, there is a source direct control not on the front of the Model 30. This source direct control allows the user to bypass the tone control section of the amplifier, which according to Marantz provides for a higher quality of sound. Other than that, as far as the front of each amplifier is concerned, they look identical. Looking at the backside of the Model 30, however, we start to see some areas that are different from the 40n, starting first with the higher quality CD and phono inputs on the Model 30. Missing from the Model 30 are all the streaming components, such as the antennas and Ethernet port. You also don't have the subwoofer out, USB, HDMI, ARC, coaxial or optical inputs found on the Model 40n. What you have on the Model 30 that can't be found on the 40n is a preamplifier out. As a one-box solution, the Model 40n is the more versatile of the two integrated amplifiers. However, what makes the Model 30 more interesting is when it's paired with its companion product, the Model 30n SACD streaming digital analog converter. Taking a separate components approach allows the Model 30n to do the streaming, digital to analog conversion, and play CDs and super audio CDs. Unfortunately, I didn't have that unit on hand for this video, but I am potentially working on getting it in-house for a future video if there's enough interest. I would love to see a super audio CD player without the streaming functionality of the Model 30n as a companion product to the 40n. Marantz, if you are watching, let us know if that could be possible in the future. The Model 30 and the 40n are made in Japan and come with the same beautifully designed and well-functioning remote. Both have had Marantz sound engineers, whom they refer to as Marantz Sound Masters, deeply involved with each amplifier sound tuning and voicing. So let's talk about what's underneath the hood of each of these units and what makes them different from a technical design perspective. The Model 30 gives you more power with 100 watts per channel output into 8 ohms and 200 watts per channel into 4 ohms. In comparison, the Model 40n outputs 70 watts per channel into 8 ohms and 100 watts per channel into 4 ohms. This factor alone could determine which amp might be a better fit for you depending on your speakers and room. The Model 30 uses Class D amplification versus the Class AB amplification of the Model 40n. More specifically, the Model 30 uses a switching amp Hypex NC500 SMP S600 with a more significant damping factor of 500 versus the Model 40n's damping factor 100. As far as total harmonic distortion, the Model 30 measures at 0.0005% at 1 kHz at 8 ohms, and the Model 40n measures at 0.02% from 20 Hz to 20 kHz at 8 ohms. I appreciate that Marantz measured the 40n from 20 Hz to 20 kHz instead of just measuring at 1 kHz, giving us more of the complete picture. Both amplifiers use HDAM or hyperdynamic amplifier modules that Marantz is so well known for and help to create their signature sound. The Model 30 includes two separate power supplies, one for the amplifier that delivers high current, allowing for superb control of speakers, and one for the preamplifier, providing a stable power supply not affected by the amplifier power supply. I could go on and on about the differences between the internal design choices made for each of these two amplifiers, and some of you would love that, but at the end of the day, what is most important to me is how do these design choices make the two amplifiers sound? For the sake of time, I will link to our website with all the product information about both amplifiers so you can read about all the technology that can be found in each and their current prices. So let's talk about how each amplifier sounds, what are their strengths, and any areas of opportunity when it comes to quality of sound when paired with my Chord TT2 as the DAC streaming title, co-buzz through Roon, with the help of the Chord Hugo 2IU modules, and spinning vinyl on my Marantz TT-15S1 Turntable paired with the Sonus Faber Olympica Nova 5s. I utilized high-quality power conditioning from Clarus and the same high-quality, high-current Clarus power cables and speaker cables for both amplifiers, which I will link in the video description below. The amplifiers were volume matched and my listening levels were consistently around 75 dB. There is a highly distinguishable difference in sound quality between the Model 30 and the Model 40n integrated amplifiers. Even a listener with untrained ears or someone new to the audio world should be able to hear some significant differences if they are using speakers capable of resolving the sound signatures between these two amplifiers. The bass of the Model 30 is a bit more reserved than that of the Model 40n. It has a drier presentation that is tight and well defined, but with a bit less overall quantity, likely due partly to the more significant damping factor of the Model 30 versus a slightly looser sounding, more prominent bass signature of the Model 40n. Whether I was listening to electronic music from the Crystal Method's new album, The Trip Out, such as tracks Housebroken or Let's Trip Out, Swedish House Mafia's latest album, Paradise Again, specifically the Moth to a Flame track featuring The Weeknd, or more traditional audiophile music from Yo-Yo Ma from his Bach album, or jazz music with a stand-up bass, the bass notes always tended to sound tight, well-defined, drier, and slightly more resolving than the Model 40n. However, the overall bass quantity could be lacking for my personal preferences on some tracks when listening to the Model 30 with the Hugo TT2 as its DAC. Turning up the bass tone control on the Model 30 in the 50 Hz region was a slight improvement for my preferences, but adding the dual rel T9X subwoofer substantially improved the quality of sound for the Model 30. The Model 30 is very detailed, open sounding, and sharply focused in the upper mid-range region compared to the slightly darker, richer sounding mid-range of the Model 40n. Vocals and string instruments tend to sound more precise and crisper when listening to the Model 30, whereas they have more body and warmth from the 40n. The Model 30 sound signature tends to present vocals a bit more forward, and depending on the track, vocals can come across with a harder edge. Listening to Moving Pictures' 40th Anniversary Super Deluxe from Rush and the track Tom Sawyer, vocals sound a bit forward at times with a touch of glare, sounding drier than the 40n. Listening to Billy Joel's 50 Years of the Piano Man, Joel's vocals at times on this track can come across with a bit of shout. The upper mid-range and lower treble energy from the Model 30 have more intensity than the Model 40n with the TT2 pairing. From a system matching standpoint, I feel the Chord TT2 is not the most synergistic DAC pairing for the Model 30, which would benefit from a warmer DAC or its companion product, the Model 30n, which likely helps to balance some of the upper mid-range forwardness I'm hearing from the more analytical TT2 pairing. Listening to the 40n and the same track from Billy Joel, the 40n is a better match for this song with its additional mid-bass energy, warmth in the mid-range, and slightly darker treble, making the song sound more enjoyable with the Chord TT2. The 40n sounds less dry to my ears, with just the right amount of moisture in the mid-range. Joel's vocals have lost that slightly shouty quality present at times on this track when listening to the Model 30. The harmonica and piano keys have also lost a slightly piercing sound quality I was hearing from the Model 30 and the Chord TT2 combo. Treble is more prominent with the Model 30 versus the 40n, both in the lower treble and upper treble regions. More air and spark allow more space between notes, greater cymbal and synthesizer energy with more perceived clarity. The attack of the treble is excellent from the Model 30. For listeners who prefer more treble, air, sparkle, and clarity, the Model 30 will be the more likely choice when compared to the slightly darker sounding 40n. However, for those who may have more sensitive hearing in the upper frequencies, or are a bit more treble and upper mid-range adverse, the 40n, at least when paired with a TT2, might be a better choice. If your speakers, DAC, turntable, or CD player already have a bit more emphasis in the upper mids and treble regions, you may want to take more care when pairing those components with the Model 30 to make sure you don't have too much of a good thing. Detail presentation is very good from both amplifiers. However, the Model 30 presents more information across all tracks I listen to. You can hear deeper into recordings, macro details and micro details are more easily heard and defined when listening to the Model 30. If you are a more analytical listener who likes to hear more finite details, the Model 30 may be the better choice for your preferences. Dynamics are very good on both amplifiers, and there is more perceived slam from the Model 40n. However, the dynamics sound tighter and more defined from the Model 30. Metaphorically speaking, the 40n hits like a professional boxer with larger weighted gloves. The dynamics of the Model 30 sound more precise, like that of a skilled martial artist with excellent speed and accuracy. Soundstage and imaging are more impressive sounding on the Model 30, with a blacker sounding background, greater depth, larger width, and more forward depth. The Model 30 presents more air and space overall, sounding more accurate and defined with a more precise imaging of the two amplifiers. I was able to hear sounds coming from all around me on some tracks when listening to the Model 30. In contrast, the soundstage of the Model 40n sounds a bit flatter with less three-dimensionality than the Model 30. The soundstage of the Model 40n is very enjoyable, but if soundstage is your number one priority in choosing between these two amplifiers, the Model 30 to my ears has the advantage. The timbre of the Model 30 is more analytical, drier, and defined with less coloration to the music than what the Model 40n presents. I would say it is the more neutral of the two amplifiers. Compared to the Model 40n, the 40n has a bit more coloration in the bass and mid-range with a slightly darker treble region, sounding a touch more analog to my ears. The Model 30 has a more hi-fi sound presentation. In contrast, the Model 40n gives me a more party vibe that is well balanced and engaging compared to the more exacting, slightly more analytical, crisper sound of the Model 30. As far as headphones go, much of the same sonic characteristics of both amps make their way into headphone listening. I ran both amps with 4 headphones, the Sennheiser HD800S, Meze Elite, Audeze LCD5, and the Focal Stellia, comparing them to my reference headphone amplifier, the Chord TT-2. The sound of the internal headphone amplifiers was surprisingly better than I expected it to sound from both the Model 30 and 40n. Both models are still speaker amplifiers first and foremost, with good headphone amplifiers on board that pair best with efficient to moderately efficient headphones. I found the bass and treble tone controls made a noticeably more significant change in sound on the Model 40n and less noticeable on the Model 30. For those of you who are more serious about headphone listening, both the Model 30 and 40n will not replace a higher performing, more expensive dedicated headphone amplifier. However, if you are a speaker first listener that occasionally likes to listen to headphones, both amplifiers should do a good job in this regard, depending on the headphones you pair with them. So which one is right for you? As in all things in audio, that depends on the other components you own or are looking to purchase. The Model 40n is a one-box solution that allows you to add a turntable, CD player, and speakers and call it a day. The Model 30 is an integrated amplifier that will need a streaming solution and whatever source components you choose along with speakers. If you have a more analytical DAC, CD player, or turntable and your speakers are a neutral to a bit brighter sounding and efficient enough for the Model 40n, that could create a nicely synergized system and an excellent argument for going with the 40n. If you have a darker sounding DAC, CD player, or turntable, and less efficient speakers that lean a bit darker in their sound quality, then the Model 30's sound signature might be the best fit. I recommend visiting our TSAV showroom and giving any components or speakers you are considering purchasing a listen, preferably with other components you own or are considering purchasing if possible. This will allow you to be sure you are making a choice you will be happy with. Of course, we would appreciate your business. If you are thinking about making a purchase, please consider using the links in the video description, as it allows us to keep bringing you more new video content. I think the overall sound signature of the Model 40n will appeal to a broader range of listeners, especially when it comes to rock, pop, electronic, R&B, reggae, and other more modern genres of music. The Model 30 will likely appeal more to the more demanding audiophile who listens to more traditional audiophile music such as acoustic, classical, jazz, and orchestral compositions. Based on my time with the Model 30, I feel it is best paired with a less analytical DAC than the Chord TT-2. I enjoyed the Model 30 with a Marantz TT-15S1 turntable with clear audio virtuoso cartridge. For my preferences, adding the dual stereo subs from REL to the Model 30 and running the Chord TT-2 on its 2 warmer filters created a much more pleasing, balanced sound that was tremendous to listen to. All of us from TSAV hope you enjoy this video presentation of my experiences comparing these two integrated Marantz amplifiers, and the information we shared helps you determine which one might be a good fit for you. If you are in the greater Los Angeles region or just looking to make a trip to hear a fantastic selection of Marantz products, our TSAV 10,000 square foot showroom and headphone bar have one of the largest selections of personal audio, 2-channel stereo, and home cinema products to see and hear in the country. I will link to our website and more info on both amplifiers and other products discussed during this video in the description below. What do you think of the Marantz Model 30 and Model 40n? Let us know in the comments below and show your support today by smashing the like button for us and subscribing for more new upcoming content. Until next time, friends, always remember, let the music be your guide.